a psychic medium and animal communicator, and I also help to find lost pets with the help of spirit. So, welcome to our little show, Spirit Chat. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Slowly, people are filtering into the Zoom room, and we are also on Facebook and YouTube. If you would like to post some questions there, we will be checking that. And welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the show.
Hi everyone, it's Winter Brook, and I'm glad to be here and excited to see you. For those that are going to watch the recorded show, thanks for tuning in afterwards. We are roasting on the East Coast. Mari and I are both jealous because our delightful guest Jeffrey is enjoying a cool 74 degrees in the Bay Area by San Francisco, while the Northeast is Long Island's feeling 106 with the heat index today. And I know I, for one, my air conditioning can't keep up. So if I start sweating bullets here, you'll know what's up. But enough about that. I think what we'd love to do is introduce you to this month's guest, a good friend of Mari's, who I've had the delight to become acquainted with recently. And thank you, Jeffrey, for taking time out from your very busy schedule and joining us today. And would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, my name is Jeffrey Peck, and I am a psychic medium, evidential medium. There's so many different things that we can all call ourselves, you know. Um, and yeah, I became well open to spirit in 2006 when I became attuned to Reiki level 1. So this was completely unexpected and quite a bit of a shock, I might add, because after that first weekend of being attuned to Reiki, the side effect for me was the ignition of all of the clairs, all of the spiritual senses, all at once.
Ooh.
And yeah, and it was bananas. I thought I was losing my mind. My Reiki master told me to sit with myself and give myself a Reiki treatment for an hour every day for 30 days. And so I was doing that, and I would go into my walk-in closet. It's like a little cocoon for me, you know, and I would be sitting there with my hands on these positions, and I started seeing things and sensing things and hearing things and feeling things and seeing what looked like vignettes of home movies, I guess, or memories. They felt like memories, but they weren't my memories. And then the beings and the silhouettes, and I thought I was losing my mind because I knew I wasn't dreaming. I was sitting upright. And I'm like, if I fell asleep and I was dreaming, I would have tipped over, you know?
So I have a quick question for you, not to interrupt, but I'm giggling because I used to get a lot of walk-in students who went and got attuned to Reiki, and their mediumship opened and they didn't know what to do because the dead people started showing up.
Truth.
So they needed training for that. And I am a Reiki master teacher, so I adore Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you said you were sitting in your walk-in closet. So did you shut the door when you did that?
Oh yeah.
So
It was
you know
dark.
what you were actually doing? You were probably using that closet as a cabinet without even realizing it. Do you know
Oh,
what a medium
completely.
cabinet is? Yeah.
Yes. It was its own portal.
I often encourage students, even if they're not interested in developing physical phenomena mediumship, to use a cabinet to enhance their experiences, whether in meditation, receiving healing, or working with their team to develop their mediumship. So go you. You knew that intuitively, huh?
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It was interesting. I had never heard of Reiki up until about a month before that. I went to, as spirit would have it with synchronicities, you know, I went to get a last minute massage with a friend of mine at a spa in Scottsdale. And it was Labor Day 2006. And it was last minute. We didn't know if we were going to get in. And we get up to the desk, and sure enough, there were two people that were not busy at the moment. And did she ask who I wanted? I said, I don't care. Whomever I get is great. That's who I'm supposed to end up with. And this gal was massaging me for about 15 minutes. And she says, you know what? I think I'm supposed to do Reiki on you. And I said, okay, cool. What's Reiki? And so she explained it to me. And I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then she started at my head, and I felt something I'd never been aware of before. I felt these tingles. I felt this little bit of pressure. I felt this heat wave flowing from my head to my feet and back and forth. And I felt what felt like, I guess I could call it like static electricity, maybe right close to my skin. It felt like 10,000 butterflies were flapping their wings right next to my skin, but not touching me. And then the light show started in my head, and I was seeing all of these lights. It was like 4th of July, colors, kaleidoscopes, all that stuff. And I was like, what is happening? And so she said, anybody can do this. You just have to get yourself a Reiki master to learn from and be attuned and all that good stuff. So I did. And then once I started doing treatments on people, yes, Winter, that's when the loved ones on the other side started coming through. And I was delivering. Well, I wasn't delivering anything yet. It took me a while to speak about it because I wasn't quite sure what was happening or if it was real. I wasn't sure if I was making it up. But finally, one day, I just felt like I had to. It was like spirit was like poking me in the ribs, poke, 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 speak up, speak up. So I just started talking, and I knew who they were. The grandfather, I knew that he loved his apple tree in his backyard, and started showing me all these things he did with his apple tree, and he was a big sharer with the town. He was so proud of it. So I was delivering this evidential mediumship spontaneously and not even realizing what I was doing, right? And it took me, I bet it took me, let's see, 2006 to 2011. I bet it took me 5 years to buy into the fact that I was literally a medium. I was like, I kept telling people, no, I think I'm just a good guesser. I think I'm just a good guesser. And a good friend of mine says, oh yeah, that's logical. So, yeah, that's how it started for me. And
That's awesome.
it was,
That's so funny because that's the good guesser. I can relate to your story on so many points of, what is happening? Am I going crazy? All of those things. And then that's what I would tell people also is when I started doing it, I would say, well, either this is real or I'm a really good guesser. So I said the exact same thing to people because it's so, as a rational person, and if you're just like a regular, doing your thing, whatever you were doing before, it's sort of hard to take all that in. It's a real shift of your mindset and and of your life, and I'm sure were people coming to you, your old friends saying like, are you okay? Like what is going on here?
yep. I lost a number of friends during that transition. And expected. I didn't. It was painful at the time, but of course, looking back as hindsight is 2020, thank goodness that that they walked away. I needed that space to open up for my own self and my own spiritual self, and to start bringing in like-minded people and people that could relate to me and that I could relate to. And yeah. And then, so you said what I was doing back then? I was doing mortgages. So it was very left brain,
Oh,
very,
wow.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
You were working for like a
So
bank, right?
a pre-medium here, I was practicing law. Most of my practice was elder and trust and estates, but I had maybe 15% of it was real estate and purchases of houses where we did mortgages. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep. So where did you end up getting your Reiki masters?
Oh yes, I had that. I couldn't get enough. I could not get it. I couldn't soak it up fast enough. So yes, I got my master's from a few teachers. I got my I saw 5 different Reiki teachers over the first 5 years. And which I highly recommend to anybody going in, because you just continue to learn more and more and more and more with each different master. It's just it's life-changing, completely life-changing.
Nice.
Absolutely. So I was just
And
curious,
then,
so
and
do you do a lot of Reiki now? Is that a big part of your practice now?
no,
Or do
well, you know what? I do on myself. I do I walk with it on the daily. I can't help but
okay.
walk through with it and do, healing on myself, on my animals, on people that I pass, animals that I pass, animals that have been hit by cars on the street. The Reiki's
Yeah.
going everywhere all the time. I cook with it. It's just part of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally do.
And
I do the
and
same.
yeah, and it was just then after the crash in 2008, where a whole lot of financial institutions just crumbled. I think it was like over 200, I think it was. So, as spirit would have it, again, there's synchronicity. When that which is no longer serving you is being ignored, the universe will come in and say, "Yoo-hoo, I'll take care of that for you. If you're not going to take care of it, I'll take care of it."
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely, the giant rug was pulled out from underneath me, and so I lost my career, I lost my income, I lost my 11-year relationship, I lost my house to foreclosure, my car to repossession, I
Oh,
filed bankruptcy, I sold
wow.
everything under my roof,
Wow.
and yeah, and I went to a friend's house in Maui, and to recover, and I was there for about 8 months, and it was, looking back, it was magical, and I'm so grateful for that tower moment. The tower card is just it was just rearranging everything for me. And then from 2010 to about 2020, I was taking care of an older couple who needed help with their like estate managing, and I was their assistant, and I drove them, and I cooked for them, and I was the liaison between all their doctors. And then as they got older, they passed away. And I knew this is the direction spirit was taking me. I could not shake it. And when you have this calling, spirit will, they'll come knock on your door. And if you ignore the door, they'll come around to the back door. And if you ignore the back door, they're coming around to the windows. And if you're hiding behind the couch saying, "Shh, we're not home," they will they will definitely get your attention. And so I knew that this was coming. And so in 2018, I went full blown into the mediumship, where I was just doing it spontaneously, just on the go in treatments if it came up. And so in 2018, I went to the Arthur, the Arthur Finley College in England, and that completely changed my life. And then I just went full conscience directly into this. And in 2021, I started my podcast called Something Super Spiritual, which has been amazing in itself. And I was avoiding YouTube. I was terrified of YouTube. I was terrified of the torch wielding villagers coming at me, and the trolls saying all the things that trolls say, right?
Right.
But again, through more synchronicity, about 6 months after starting my podcast, I got the message 3 very, very strong times to get on YouTube. So I woke up that next morning on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and I just was like, okay, here I go. And I took all of the recordings, and I cleaned them up a little bit with all the, the pauses. You got to clean up the pauses a little bit here and there, and put it all on YouTube. It took me about 16 hours. And then I'm on YouTube, and suddenly I'm doing the show Something Super Spiritual live on live streams with YouTube. And it's one of my favorite things to do. And so I just thank you for having me here, because it's just to talk about this is just, it's everything, because we all have this within us. We're connected. We are first and foremost an unlimited, eternal being living in this body, right? And I just love to talk about it and help people recognize the divine spark within themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, that's quite the story. I mean, I didn't know that whole backstory of losing everything and going to Maui. That's amazing that you were able to sort of grow through that. And I'm sure sort of during some of those points in time that you probably had some doubts about like, what is happening? Where am I going? How is this going to work out?
Yeah.
Because then I think all of us, that's a common thing. Everybody has challenges in their lives, and we have to sort of feel like, okay, well, what's happening? And I think some people at that stage kind of give up and kind of stay small and say, all right, well, I'll just get a job, at the grocery store, or something small, and
Yeah.
just keep themselves small and not grow. But I think what you're saying, and one of the lessons I'm sort of taking from your story is that we, even though it's difficult, we have to try to push through that and see what's next for ourselves, because there is always something. It doesn't matter whether you're, you're 20 or you're 70. People,
Yeah.
oh, I'm too old. I can't do it. I can't, do something new. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I didn't start really doing this professionally until I was a little older as well. And I don't know how old you are, and you don't have to tell us, but you went through this whole metamorphosis, and it's just so amazing how you had enough trust in spirit, in the universe, to sort of say, okay, what's next on my path, and move forward, and as opposed to shrinking back.
Oh, and I wanted to. Let's be
Oh,
honest.
yeah, of course, because that's
I
easy,
really
right?
wanted
It's
to.
easy, Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to. I think it was, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And what that
Yeah.
meant was finding that strength inside and holding that faith and trust and spirit and recognizing that we together are equals and we're working together for this common ground, this common good, helping people understand that we are that, and showing this through the evidential mediumship and the psychic work that I do. And yeah, it was really, really hard. It was hard, but I wouldn't have changed it, because here's the thing. What was scarier than doing it in the first place was the thought of not doing it. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I got to work through this somehow.
No, absolutely. I mean, because unfortunately, with the way our world is, there's definitely, I think, a lot of people that can relate to your story that are having big financial issue. And, I know people that have lost their homes and that, and what do you do with that? Do you just, again, stay small and comfortable and, like not try to move forward? Because there are people, and I sadly am one of those, that I need a lot of pushes. So
Oh,
before I started doing my mediumship, I got a million different signs and a million different things happened. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. No. And so it was really until I started getting hit over the head and saying, like, you need to be doing this. And I was finally just relented and said, okay, fine, I'll do it. That I was really able to embrace it. But I think it's important to try to listen to the messages we get so that you don't have to be like me and get hit over the head so many times until you finally move forward with what you're supposed to be doing.
yeah, yeah. It can take a minute. I mean, it really can.
Yeah.
And in that space, I just tell people to just, honor where they are in the moment, but just remember, one of the things that the late great Mavis Patella said was,
Yeah.
you might be shy, but your soul isn't.
Hmm.
So when we are in alignment with our soul, and with regard to whatever it is, when we're in alignment with our soul, we don't really have to try that hard. It just, like, synchronicities happen and they're put right in front of our path, and when they're supposed to be, right? And when we're open to that and when we're receptive, um, yeah, you just go, and it's not as difficult as we can make it out to be, or scary.
I love Mavis.
Yes.
um, do you ever go to Lilydale?
I have not been to Lilydale. It's on my list.
Oh, you gotta go. You gotta
Mhm.
go. Lilydale is wonderful. And after Mavis and Janet and Havik, they were best of friends here on the Earth plane, transitioned, they put their portraits in the it's not the auditorium, it's across from the Maplewood, one of the rooms where they hold services and lectures. And when I teach there now, Mavis's presence is so strong that she just entrances me, and I just go and she's talking through me. It's great. Their energy is so prominent there. So if you truly adored her, I would strongly recommend you go. Feel it's a different vibe. Where
Yeah.
the energy is actually palpable when you go through the gates.
Oh, yeah.
So
I imagine it to be like Arthur Finley. Like when I went to Arthur Finley, you could feel it. And
yes,
it's like the spiritual Wi-Fi was dialed up in a way, like, and I imagine that with Lilydale as well. It's just, it's miraculous. I
Yeah,
love it.
I've been to Arthur Finley a couple of times and I agree. Um, whenever people gather for the purposes of blending with spirit and working for spirit, the energy is created and it's sustained and it keeps growing. So
Oh,
Lilydale's been around for so long, and that's what people do. They go there and they focus on energy work, mediumship. So it's there, and there's teachers, and I know it's a big trip for you because you're on the other coast, but
mhm.
for my New York friends and my Ohio and Pennsylvania and in the Northeast, so Lilydale is about an hour's drive west of Buffalo. So, like, I fly into Buffalo and then rent a car, but some of you might be able to just drive there and definitely a place to visit. I love the energy there. A lot of healing goes on. So, in fact, I will be there July, teaching the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Trance, meet and greet your guys, which will focus on blending with the higher teachers, and then the psychic to mediumship 1 day immersion. But yeah, sorry. I
No,
just want
I
to
think that's
encourage
great. We have
Jeffrey.
to let
When I heard
everybody
him
know.
mention Mavis, I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
she's so present there.
yeah. Oh, completely. My
And the
friend Anthony.
fairies, there's lots of fairies there. And I think you like
Oh,
fairies, right?
yeah. I had some really bizarre experiences with the elementals and the fairy realms. Um, Back in 2007, I had discovered old school Doreen Virtue.
Uh-huh.
And I loved her. God bless her
Yeah.
where she is. That's, she is where she is because she needs to be, and that's great. But what she did for me was she really made spirituality safe, and I'll never forget that. But I did had these crazy experiences where, in that exploration and seeking in those moments, I, was suddenly had this affinity for crystals. And so I would sit in my backyard and I'd make a little crystal grid and I would talk to the fairies, and I had my 35 millimeter camera and I would just click, click, and I'd say, okay, everybody, we're getting together for a photo shoot. Everybody smile. Click, 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 click. And the orbs that showed up, and the orbs that you could see them present in each frame. They were a little bit brighter in the next one, a little bit brighter in the next one, a little bit bigger in the next one, and then they would slowly change colors from like blue to through green to yellow. It was just absolutely incredible. And I have another fun story. Can I tell you another fun story?
Sure, of course.
So when I was in Maui, recovering from that crash, I was talking to the Menehune, and I was really, really wanting to see the Menehune, and those are the Hawaiian fairies.
Okay.
And I was trying so hard to see them with my literal eyes. Wanted to see them with my physical eyeballs. And I don't know, after, I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks, it seemed like a long time. I started to get really frustrated on my insides, and I can be known to have a temper tantrum once or twice. So I'm talking to heaven, like, where are you guys? Why am I not seeing you? So what I find so interesting and hilarious is that spirit will give you what you're asking for. It just might not come in the way that you are expecting and or demanding. So I had been sensing with my third eye lots of stuff, but in that early days, I thought I was making it up. I was asking to see the Menehune, and I was walking around Makawao, and I was just shopping on the streets. And when you're walking across a street and you come in between two parked cars and you're walking out into the street, the person coming down the street in their car won't see you coming out of those two parked cars until it's almost too late.
Mm.
I walked out of those two parked cars into the street, and this big white van slammed on its brakes. And on the side of this white van was a big, huge cartoon Menehune. And the slogan was, "We see you." And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I get it. I get it. Thank you. So I often say that when we are opening up to spirit and we are developing and we're starting to understand what it all feels like on our insides. It's a little bit different for all of us, and it's very easy to have somebody who is really clairaudient, which I had a bunch of clairaudient friends back then, and they told me that they would hear them with their physical ears, or they would hear different voices on the inside of their head. So that's what I was expecting. And I just thought, okay, I'm just not clairaudient. But it's very easy to have these expectations and demands by what everybody else is saying, and we block ourselves. We totally block ourselves because we have those unintentional expectations. And it should be this way, or it should be that way. So I had recognized that, my clairaudience happens a little bit differently. And you just get to understand through, playing with it and playing with circles and practicing and all that good stuff. So that's my story about the Menehune.
That's so cool. I actually work with the elementals, and today I have a couple of my Shambhala circle members on for the show to watch you, and they'll tell you I do a lot of transfiguration, and part of that is, I don't have you seen transfiguration?
Yes.
Okay, great. So and for the listeners, what'll happen is they will elongate my ear and it gets pointy, and then my nose gets very pixie-like, and the face changes. So we have elves and fairies that come through, and then I don't see it because I'm sitting in the cabinet. When I was teaching transfiguration at Lilydale, Spirit was going to show me. I always wanted to know what it looks like because we don't always catch this stuff on the camera. And I put a couple of students in a cabinets, and all of a sudden they transfigured with their ear growing and the nose. And I could tell that the fairies were with us that way. And then also a couple of years ago on my birthday, I was at Lilydale teaching. And so a group took me out for my birthday. We walked down the fairy trail and we sat and saw fairies. We had to discern which ones were lightning bugs versus which ones were the fairies, but we were seeing them with our physical eyes. So it was the coolest experience.
That is the coolest experience.
Yeah, so there's just so much to offer. Now, I'm not saying they're limited to Lilydale. I guarantee you, if you go into your woods, if you have woods near you, it might be kind of hard in a city environment. But if you go into woods anywhere locally or in your backyard, if it's in a rural or suburban area, call upon them and you may actually see them, particularly after dark, because then they kind of put a glow, and with the physical eyes for those that don't have their clairvoyance open. But they do come, like you said. I love that story though.
They do. They totally do. Yeah. It's amazing. And then yes, later on, down the road, I would be in the UK and have those experiences where I finally did see them, years and years later from when I was hoping and expecting to, but yeah, I did. And it's incredible and weird at the same time, because there's a part of me that's like, oh, that's really weird. It's just like, yeah, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
fun
it
to
is
have fun with
weird.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. And it sort of feels like, like if you're a regular rational person, that part of you is like, wow, almost like other people watching this would think it's kind of weird. But the part of us that's really connected to spirit and to this work is every time something cool happens to me, I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, I just love that feeling, but I can see how other people around us, like, sometimes my grandmother will turn on the radio in my house or turn the lights on and off. And to me, I'm like, hey, Nana, what's up? And sometimes other people that might be in the house, if I have friends, they're like, what is that? What is going on? I'm like, it's just my Nana. It's fine. But we're sort of used to it because we're enveloped in that world. But I think
Yes.
people that really aren't are looking at it, and maybe that's where our perception comes from. That, oh, that's kind of weird. Like that's a little scary to me. And I think part of our mission here on the show is just to explain to people that there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just energy. It's energy in different forms. We are all energy. We are all connected. And whether they're visiting from another realm or from the elementals, the forest, wherever the energy is coming from, past loved ones or pets, they in very many ways are just like us because we are also energy, embodied in this physical form at this current time. And for me, there's really nothing to be afraid about that. I haven't had a scary experience with them, and I think Hollywood likes to amp that up a little bit and make connection with spirits a scary
They
experience.
do.
And it gives a negative sort of tone to the type of work we do. But I can say personally, for me, I've never had any type of experience like that. It's always filled with love and connection, and that's really why I think we do this work. It is also partially to spread that message that it's not a scary place to connect with other spirits, other people in the afterlife, because they are very much like us. They are just energy.
Yeah, it's true. I had one experience in the night where it was, you wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I opened my eyes and I saw it was the first time I actually saw spirit in the form of a shadow. At the end of my bed, I saw this person standing at the end of my bed, and it was dark, but this figure was darker than the dark. It's hard to describe, and it was a man, and he was standing there. And if you would have asked me prior, I would probably have thought I would be terrified. But I woke up and I saw him there, and like you said, Mari, it's like it's that love. You can feel the love, and it was just one of my people, there to check on me, just there to remind me that we're all connected and that they're watching over and they're with me all along on this ride. And I was like, okay, thanks for being here. I'm closing my eyes again. So yeah, it's not scary. It does not have to be that way. But the shows on TV sure do like to talk about a lot of that dark stuff.
Exactly. And that's just for ratings, because it's, at least in my experience, I have not found any of it to be scary because they are here to support us and love us and try to help all of us be a little bit more connected. So it's fine if you want to watch the scary haunting shows on cable, but just know that that's not for people that do this every day. That's not really the real experience that we go through. And it's really meant more for entertainment and not for reality. So just sort of keep that in mind if you're watching those shows. But it's such a cool story. I love to hear everyone's background, Jeffrey, how you got into this and
Thank you.
everything about
Yeah.
going to Maui. You've obviously overcome so many different things. I'm just curious, what are you doing? What type of work are you doing now? I know you talked to us about the retreat you just did. So how is your work sort of manifesting now? And what do you focus on?
Yeah. So now, I mean, I do readings, mediumship, psychic. I love to do soul appraisals. I love to do that work where we are tapping into where they are and who they are and what's going on in their world right now spiritually, and what and why,
Hmm.
why these, like, if I could have had somebody back in 2008 help me with that why, it would have been a little bit easier, I think, and a little bit
Yeah.
more understanding sooner than later. But yeah, I love to do that work, but at the same time I do my recordings for my podcast, that I also edit for the audio, for the video on YouTube. They go on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And um, recently, I just got back on Sunday from this magnificent retreat that we facilitated in Sedona, and there were 45 people there, and it was all about reconnecting with that divine source within. And
Awesome.
it's all of us. It's meant for all of us. There are no levels here with regard to what we were putting together in Sedona, because the truth of the matter is we are always evolving, every single one of
Hmm.
us. And if somebody just recognized that divine spark within themselves last week, compared to somebody who had recognized it 4 decades ago. We still encourage everybody to come together because we're all evolving together. And it was just magnificent. And it was, when people, Winter, I think you talked about this earlier, but when a group of people comes together with the same intentions, the energy is palpable. The meditations that we do together take on a whole new level because we're all in this together, creating this vortex of spirit power, and the experiences that they all have it's so moving. Lots of tears of joy, tears of healing. We addressed a lot of the healing, the deep healing, like ancestry, recognizing the ancestors and what they passed through the generations that may have been patterns of abuse or addiction or abandonment, all of that, and really getting to a place of recognizing that and accepting it, and that, here we are, we can break these patterns. And a lot of people are right now. A lot of people are. That comes up in readings often. And then the other workshop was about connecting with your inner child, reclaiming your inner child and remembering the joy. The inner child is that ultimate divine spark of source that came into this world, right? And that truly was spectacular. And then the third workshop was about you're empowered now, you're present, after working through, the past, the inner child, and to the now, and really standing in the presence, being present now. It was amazing. So
Sounds amazing. Wow,
yeah.
that sounds great. And do you do these like a couple times a year, or what's the schedule?
Well, the first one was last October, and then we scheduled this one for just last week, and it was that was 8 months that had gone by. So we're trying to figure that out. And and it's different now too because of the current climate with the administration that's in office.
Yeah.
We noticed this year that people have really been hesitant to spend money on themselves the way that they used to. And not to mention, a lot of our people were from Canada last October, and most of the Canadians, I think one came, maybe two, but last year we had like 12, and now they were, all don't want to come here right now. And I mean, who can blame them? But yeah, we've noticed a little bit of a shift, so we're totally just like going with the flow. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think it will evolve as time goes and sort of match maybe what's going on in the world and those type of
Mm.
needs. And it sounds
Yes.
phenomenal though, what you've put together. And maybe I'm sure people will be interested in what you're doing. Maybe you can put your website in the chat, and
Oh,
I'll put it up on the show page once it goes up on YouTube. And then we do also put it on, iHeartRadio and Apple iTunes and all those things. So if
yeah.
people want to get a hold of you, what is your website so that our listeners can hear it? And then you can also put it in the chat.
So my website is my name, jeffreypeck.com. That's JEFFREYPECK.com. Um, uh, I have some really beautiful meditations that are at no cost. And one of the ones that I think I have about 4 of them up there, but my favorite one I just put up there about 6 weeks ago, and it's called Meet Me at the Bridge. And it's about sitting in that space within your meditation and going to the Rainbow Bridge to meet up with your crossed over pets and bringing them back in. And it walks through, the pets coming to you, however they are meant to be. And the feedback I've gotten is they've all had really beautiful messages from their pets from long ago. And some might see one pet walk across the bridge towards them. And I had other feedback where, I mean, like a dozen of them over the past, horses and birds and, all sorts of dogs all coming together. And anyway, so that's called Meet Me at the Bridge at jeffreypeck.com. It's really beautiful, but yeah,
Wow,
I'll
that's
put
Speaking
that
of
in the,
pets,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed one of our watchers has a gorgeous gray kitty. I've just been admiring your kitty. Yes, you have a Brian down as your name, so I'm assuming that's your partner. Um, but the cat's gorgeous. I love
Yeah,
animals.
I'm Judy. That's Zoe.
Oh, Zoe, you are so
Yeah,
beautiful. I have a gray that looks like Zoe, and she's so shy, mine, but yours
yeah,
is so, just right out there and
yeah.
just
She loves to
gorgeous,
sleep up there when I'm on this chair. Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. And you guys are very interesting. I'm enjoying this.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
Thank you,
yeah.
thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Well,
Well,
I'll
what do
get
you
this
think, Winter?
together.
Would we like to open up to some readings? Because
I
I
think
realize the time
so.
is just passing
Yes.
by so
Yeah,
quick.
great. Jeffrey, you're just, I love the conversation, but we should because we're not going to be doing this now till September. Mari and I take the summer to focus on family, kids.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's summertime, as you can see, it's beautiful, even though hot here, and try to spend all the time I can with family. So, and I know winter does too. So, but we'll be back in September, and we already are getting our lineup together for our podcast in the fall. So don't worry about that. But if anybody in the Zoom room or Facebook or YouTube would like a reading, then feel free in the Zoom room anyway to raise your hand and we can see what type of reading. I know that Jeffrey wanted to focus on psychic readings today, if you'd like a reading from him. And
Sharon.
Sharon,
Um,
yeah.
yes. So Sharon's a friend of mine. So Mari, would you like to take hers?
Well, I was going to offer it to our guest, so I would love Jeffrey to get first crack at one of our people here. So
Sharon,
Sharon
just
did,
put on your mic because I muted
yeah,
you when you came in, sweetheart.
Okay.
awesome. Did you have
Yeah.
a particular question or?
Mm, no, I guess just what's there. I mean, I don't have a particular question now, and I'm loving every minute of this. This is so wonderful. This is the first time I've attended your chats, and this is great.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, Jeffrey, would you like to tune in to Sharon and see what we
Yeah.
can?
So Sharon, the first thing that I see within and around you. So what I tend to do, how I work psychically, I go into your auric field, and I can sense your auric field. And when I see colors, and it kind of tells me a little bit about who you are, where you've been, where you're going, what's going on your insides, all that good stuff. And I just want to talk to you about it. I can see that there's a lot of green around your heart. I know that there's been a lot of healing happening, a lot of conscious healing. There's a real sense of really looking at that. I mean, interestingly, I just talked about this about the retreat, but I can tell that you've been doing a lot of that deep work with regard to the past and the childhood wounds, childhood traumas. Do you understand that? Really moving through all of that from the past.
I have been thinking about some of those things. Yes.
Yeah. There's this feeling too that there's also a lot of really beautiful pinks and like mauves and rosy around your heart as well. So let me tell you what that means to me. When I see that around your heart, I know that you have a tendency to lead with acceptance and compassion. Like you have this way of like seeing people where they are without that full judgment. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Like
Yes.
you really meet people where they are, and it doesn't matter who they are or where they've been. You have this way of meeting people where they really feel so much better than when you found them just by being in your energy. You're a natural healer. You know that about yourself?
And with some help from Winter Brook. Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, so yeah, you're a natural healer, and there's this feeling too that I want to your throat chakra is really lit up beautifully as well, that beautiful blue. And I know that you also have a way, like the way that you speak and communicate to people is very healing as well. Your words are healing. Do you understand that? It's that part of you that views these people through the lens of compassion, is how I want to describe it. You see through the lens of compassion, and it's really beautiful. And getting to this place does not come usually that easily because we are, we know what it feels like to be wounded. We know what it feels like. And so we step into that healing role where we hope to assist others who are there. I talk about this often where we each hold a different piece of the manual of life. And so when we see people who have been, for instance, if I were to see somebody with us that had going through this massive crash and burn where they're losing their house and their income and their relationship, you know what I mean? I can see that and sense that too. But I also understand how that feels. So I would be like, I've got a part of the manual. Let me help you through this. I can help you. And anyway, that's what I'm talking about with you as well.
Thank you. That's
Mm.
that's good. It's yeah, it's good to think about, and it's good that you're seeing that.
Yeah, yeah. And I also feel like, so you all know that we have guides and guardians with us, and our guides, we are set up with one or two or three who have been with us our entire lives, right? And then we've got others who come in at different parts of our life, depending on what we're doing. Maybe we're going through school, college, graduate school, whatever, right? But I feel like that there's a new guide with you as you're stepping forward into this additional work. And I really would like to encourage you to really go into that and invite them in for introduction, and to really get to know them a bit.
Awesome. I just want to add before we move to the next person, because it's for timing. Sharon, I'm aware your mom passed recently, and she's been hanging out for the last 20 minutes. That's the only reason I had said, Mari, do you want to give the message? Because Jeffrey mentioned wanting to focus on psychic work today. And I knew mom wanted to come in. And then when I shushed her, she said Rod Stewart, and I never get names. So I'm going to leave that with you. She's causing trouble. I feel like she's in a race car and she's just puttering through. And sending a lot of love to you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Winter Brook, and
welcome.
thank you, Jeffrey. That was really good and really something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Blessings.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it looks like Yvonne would like a reading. Can you unmute, honey? Oh, there you
Hi.
are. Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I have a headache today, but I'm
Hanging
okay.
in there,
The
yeah.
weather.
Okay, we've got a
So,
couple. Yeah, for sure. It's been a little crazy. So, did you have a particular question
no,
or?
I'm just I've had a lot going on in the last couple of months, so just wondering anything. It's fine. Hi,
All
Jeffrey.
right. I'm gonna
Hi.
do a quick reading. I'm just pulling some cards here because I sort of felt led to. Interesting. I don't know if you were thinking about moving because I'm getting a big feeling about that, about changing locations or buying a new location. There's some piece about that.
So I keep getting that, but I'm a realtor. So
Oh, okay, that's interesting because
everyone
I'm
keeps
seeing
telling me that I'm
houses and
moving, but I'm a
moving.
realtor. So
Okay, well that would make sense. But it almost feels like that your soul, as I'm sort of connecting to your energy, is looking for some type of a shift. So even though you're a realtor, which is great and is a great job, it almost feels like your being is looking for I want to say some new action or a new location. So that just might be something for you to think about in terms of, maybe I do want like a second place or to take like a longer, not just a vacation, but I feel like that your soul would benefit from another spot, moving to a different place or being in another place for an extended period of time. Because it just feels, as I'm connecting with you, it feels kind of stagnant a little bit. It just feels like, like if you've been, and I'm not a medical intuitive, but I'm just using it as an example. Like if you've been sick and you're kind of sick and your room has that kind of sick energy and you just need
right.
to open the windows and just make something fresh and new. That's the feeling that I'm getting with you. I do feel like that you have like a really good foundation in terms of your spiritual building, but it just feels like some type of movement for you would be really important because I feel like that I almost feel like you've been surrounded by the same people, your friends or family type of connections for a long time, and that you haven't really moved out to meeting new people, world, trying new things. And that's really what I'm hearing for you, Yvonne, that your soul is kind of like, okay, we've been there, done that. Like, what's next, you know?
Right.
That's what I'm really feeling for you. So, try to challenge yourself a little bit. We were talking about that earlier. Sometimes it's easy to stay small and stay in your familiar circles and kind of keep doing the same thing. But I really feel like for your benefit and for your energy also, I feel like your energy is kind of, and to pick up that energy and sort of feel like, I have more to give. I have more things I can do in this world and in this life than what I'm currently doing. And obviously, what you're doing is great, but there's more. I feel like there's more things to explore for you, but you have to be able to take a risk on yourself and take a chance and be able to try new things and maybe meet some new people. I just keep feeling very sort of stuck in your situation. And I feel like spirit is pushing you to sort of move forward and try something that you wouldn't necessarily do. Does that
So
resonate with you?
now would be the time to like spread my wings, so to speak.
100%, absolutely. I
Jeffrey
feel
wants
like
to speak.
I know, I'm just chomping at the bit
I
over
see
here.
he's almost
feel
praying.
free. Go ahead, Jeffrey. You're the
He's almost
guest.
praying.
Go,
Yes,
go.
Mari, yes, I completely agree with you. I was feeling the exact same thing. I feel like that you are at a precipice of your social contacts, your circle of people is about to expand. I feel like that there's but this is more like with the group of a spiritual group, like a healing group, or that kind of, what we can call it, the woo-woo group. I just feel like there's more of that coming into your world, and the opportunity is presenting itself. So what Mari was saying, I really want to encourage you to pay attention to those opportunities that might pass by and just catch you, and you're like, oh, okay, what do I, look into it, see what it's about. If it resonates on your insides, then give it a shot, because I feel like there are some really, really amazing people that are just meant to meet with you in this next phase of your life.
I keep
100%.
having people asking me to do things, and then I keep saying, "Oh no, I'm not ready." No.
Spirit
So
is like, let's go. It's time. It was already time. They're keep doing this
right.
to me. Let's go. Let's go. So it's
And
definitely time. It's
Mhm.
time.
yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you
And
very
again,
much.
I know her, so I'm not going to comment. I've already tried to give her pushes.
Well, you
So
are my
thank you.
Reiki master, so
Well, you're hearing it from everybody, so it must mean something. But yeah,
and spirits
absolutely.
here because my dog is hitting me.
Oh,
Whenever
Aw.
see?
spirit comes, she gets crazy. So they're already here.
Yep. Absolutely. They're like, let's go. Let's go. Time to
Oh,
go.
can I
Let's
share
go.
that story real quick about that dog? I think the listeners would be
Oh yeah.
excited. So, Yvonne got
Don't
that
say too
particular
much
dog.
about the previous owner, though.
Well, the previous owner committed suicide from stress, and they had nowhere
During
to place
COVID.
the dog during COVID. She worked in healthcare. And so Yvonne stood up and took the dog, and the owner visits. You always talk about pets coming to visit. So this is just a flip side. The
Yes.
owner comes in, and Yvonne can see her because she is a medium. And she comes to check on her dog, and she's very, okay, I feel like she's here now. She's very grateful for the life that's being given to her dog. I wasn't meaning to do mediumship, but she's here. So, Yvonne, I don't know if you've heard it third party, but the dog's former owner just wants to send a tremendous amount of love, healing for you, because again, she was in the medical field, and I feel that she brings in a lot of healing. She's working on your energy field to calm the disharmonies for you to feel physically better. And she's in much gratitude and love for the love and the care you give her dog, whom she loved very much. So I'm gonna leave that with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Beautiful.
So I had to do
Beautiful.
Reiki on this dog because she was so distraught for 3
Oh.
months straight. She wouldn't
Yeah.
sleep. She wouldn't sleep without the TV on. And she sees spirits. She gets really anxious when her mom comes around.
Oh,
Our
Mom's
animals
very
are
happy with the
sensitive.
care
Yeah.
you're giving to her
Oh,
pet.
yeah, she's
So
the best. She's so
we
sweet.
always talk about pets coming back to visit us from spirit, but guys, sometimes pets outlive us. And I've had that situation where I've taken in a foster and then when they cross over the prior owners there and it's,
They're all there.
That's her best friend.
Oh,
Oh,
cute.
all right, stop.
Very nice. Thank you.
anyway,
That was beautiful.
there's
Thank
a
you so much, really.
take
Thank
care. Feel better, sweetheart. I'll send you some Reiki when we're
Thank
done
you.
here. We
you.
have
Anxious
a
about
nice
the spirits.
have a nice young man, Jason, who has his hand up.
Thank you. Stop looking. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you
I'm
can
gonna mute.
unmute Jason.
Yeah.
Great. Thank
Hi,
you.
everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Hi. Yeah.
I'm kind of just new to this, but I really appreciate you guys putting on this sort of thing so that people can kind of just come in and, learn from it.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you being here.
I wasn't really looking for anything specific. I'm kind of just, taking it all in. I'm just interested.
Okay, you guys mind if I start?
Go ahead.
Go, yeah.
Because
I think
I
after we have, there's a couple more people. I think Linda and Terry, I think, put their hands up. So I'm trying to keep order in my mind. So go ahead.
okay,
Go ahead,
so I'll go
Winter.
quick. We might run over a little bit, but that's okay. So the first thing I got to tell you, Jason, what I noticed about you, you're saying you're new to it, but do you understand that you have a lot of abilities, both in healing and mediumship? I do feel you're very sensitive to energy. And just like Jeffrey and myself, we started with Reiki. And I know Mari does spiritual healing. I think if you were to look towards getting a Reiki attunement, at least levels 1 and 2, is going to open up a whole new aspect of yourself and a lot of your abilities, maybe not as quickly as Jeffrey's, but they're going to start opening. I do feel that you'll be able to communicate with other species, which would be, the animals, because I do feel that you are very drawn to animals. You love them, you have patience with them, you get very frustrated with humans. Sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do have this whole other part of you that's just waiting at the gate to open up. Sometimes just being told can open it, but I do feel that if you go get a Reiki treatment, see how you like it, and then get attuned, I think you're going to be much happier. You do feel a little frustrated right now. You're not sure which way to turn. Would that be about right?
In a way, yeah.
And you do feel like you have a presence that's near you in times of confusion, like you're not quite sure what to do, and then all of a sudden you get this download. It's almost like it's like a robot. You just make the right decision, you just make the right turn, you just do it, you don't know where it comes from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I can think of a couple instances like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's your spirit team. So you have helpers. Okay, you're not alone. You have helpers, and they are enthusiastic and would like to step forward more into your present consciousness and awareness. Vis-a-vis, one way to do that would be to attune to Reiki, because it'll clear out the cobwebs and tune up your chakras, which are the receptors. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with that, with the blessings of spirit, and just let you know you have wonderful things coming down the horizon for you if you so choose to pursue it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Winter. Let's see, we have Linda, I think is next. Linda, love, do you mind unmuting yourself? Let's see. There you go.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Did you
Kind of,
have
sort of.
It's kind of, sort of. Would you like Jeffrey, our star for today, to do a reading for you? Or I can do one, or whatever.
Whoever, whatever you're getting.
Do you have any questions, or just sort of general?
Just a general.
What do you think, Jeffrey? Do you want to
Oh,
start
well,
with Linda?
I'm glad you picked Linda, because Linda, around you, I see so much beautiful purples. There are purples all around you, and the purple is that's the spiritual. Think of an amethyst. You know what I mean? The spiritual connection. That's the third eye. It's, up here somewhere along with the white, but it's really, really beautiful. And it makes me realize within yourself that you have been um consciously taking yourself next level, next level, next level, next level with regard to your spirituality. There's a real sense of um I know you're a healer, and I just feel like that I'm being nudged by the guides and guardians. I just feel like I'm being nudged to encourage you to share more of yourself, to share more of yourself with others in that healing capacity. Is nursing connected to you? Because it's that kind of like healing, healing. Do you understand that?
I'm nurturing, but no, I was a paralegal. I'm not in the medical field. I mean, I did
Okay.
volunteer with the American Red Cross for 8 years, but not in a medical capacity.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know that seeing this symbolic nurse's cap is absolutely letting me know that you are dialed in for healing and healing work. And the work that you've been doing for yourself is a mirror for those for others. And I want to encourage you to really start or continue with a dialogue, an open dialogue with your spirit team, because I feel like that's the direction that it's going for you. I just want to remind you over and over, to share yourself, however that looks. And I also see the same thing. I know we talked about this earlier, but I see a lot of that healing around your heart. I see that compassion around your heart, that you lead with compassion. Um, and it's like, I just want to, there is, it's I keep seeing you with like a torch, almost like you're lighting the way with others. You have a way shower about you. So, again, that's just going with that whole, I just feel like I have to remind you and encourage you to share your gift, to carry that torch for others.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
I'll have to explore that more.
Yeah, absolutely. When these messages come in like this, it's a confirmation and a reminder for yourself that, oh, okay, well, maybe this is something I have to look at. It's kind of like when we're looking at our feed, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, things scroll through our feed that kind of catch us, and we kind of feel this little hook, and we're like, huh, what is that? That's synchronicity. So pay attention to those synchronicities with regard to your spiritual development, because when I see a turquoise sash, like a beauty queen sash, it's a turquoise sash, I know that you have the capacity to mentor and coach and guide others.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Very
Yeah,
nice.
there's a lot.
There's a lot to unpack there, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done for me now. I didn't realize, I feel like this just was an awakening because I lost my dad last February and I lost my mom this January. So I became a caregiver where I didn't know I had that in me. And you do what you have to do. And it's been a journey, but I have gifts of delivering messages to people, but I don't always get it right. I'll just say what I'm getting, but there's a lot of work to be done, and I don't know where to turn and how to get the teachers to help me.
Well, there's lots of, I don't know where you're located, but there's lots of online and in-person classes. You could join a spirit circle, a practice type of circle. If you're near New York, I know Winter does
I'm
a
in
ton
New
of
York.
different classes. You're in
Yeah.
New York?
Yeah, I've been following Winter for years, since you've been at Scrubs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
years ago, and you were amazing. I
Thank
just
you.
haven't, um, been so active in doing it. And I've always wanted to go to Lilydale. So I'm gonna have to start doing these things and putting them on the list of things to do because I've
Well,
been
come,
able.
I'm gonna be there July 17th.
I know we'll be in Florida with my family
Oh, well,
in
no.
my parents' condo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But go when you get back then. I won't be there, but there's other teachers there. They do screen the teachers.
Okay.
And I haven't set up my full schedule for classes, but I like to do online now. But I'm just,
I get your emails. I just have
okay,
to
so you'll
do it.
know.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so
the
much.
online classes work really well for developing psychic and mediumship gifts.
Okay.
And I'm doing the Reiki classes in person at my office in Northport. And I just have to set them up for probably the end of August and September.
I'll be there.
So
Do
I'd
it.
love to see you.
Do it,
Thank you.
absolutely, do
Okay.
We
it.
have one more message, if that's okay. I know we're a little bit late, but Terry's waiting and she's such a great supporter of our show. And I think it would be awesome if Jeffrey could do the reading since he's, here today and he's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, would you read
Thank
Terry
you.
for us? Because Winter and I have read Terry multiple times, so it'd be great
Sure.
if she could hear from you. She's a lovely lady.
Hi, Terry. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Do
you.
you have anywhere you'd like me to focus, or you just want me to go with what I'm getting?
I have something in particular that I'm thinking of. We're having a family issue here with that, or wherever you want to go.
Okay, so one of the first things that I'm sensing within your auric field, when I see orange in somebody's field over on the left side, if you think about timing, left side is receptive. So this is how I see it. Not everybody sees it this way. This is just my symbology. When I see time coming in on the left side, going through it, and then our past is out the right side, okay? So when I see orange in your left side, I know that there is a shift with regard to the potential of moving home, or maybe the way that you're earning your income. It doesn't feel like it is absolutely sorry, I just trying to catch it all. It doesn't feel like that it's absolutely necessary, but it feels to me like that is actually like a possibility for you.
Okay.
So I want to encourage you to pay attention to that. Again, it doesn't feel like it's a necessity, but it feels like a possibility coming in, an opportunity to change things a little bit.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel difficult. It just feels like it would be like an obvious, like, oh, that makes sense, There's also a feeling like I also feel this sense of frustration and a sense of uncertainty. And it's like do you understand that, Terry?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
do.
like frustration and some uncertainty?
Yes, I do.
There's this feeling of it's like the guides want me to just support you and encourage you to keep going. And it feels like there are other people involved.
Yes.
And it feels to me like although it feels like a mountain to climb, it's like once you get started, it's like the wind is at your back.
Right.
Yeah, the wind is at your back. So I just want to encourage you, because it's the thing that I can sense again within you is you're intuitive. You're intuitive and you have a connection to spirit.
Yeah.
And it's like you've been getting the hits, like on what you do is option A, option B, option C, and it's like I just want to remind you, you absolutely know what to do. You absolutely know what to do. And even though it feels like it's going to be difficult, it's like I need to encourage you to go with your gut and what your hits are, because you're right. You're absolutely right. And it is going to be hard. It feels like there's unhappiness surrounding it, but only temporarily. Does that make sense?
Yes. I
Okay,
hope temporarily.
Okay, yeah, it is absolutely only temporarily. And so like a friend of mine made this for me as a joke, and it comes out in live streams quite often. So I just wanted to just tell you, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep going. It's going to be so much better on the other side.
I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Wow.
Lovely
Well,
message,
thank you.
Jeffrey.
Yeah,
Thank
wonderful
you.
message for Terry. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I realize we are a little bit over time here, so I guess I just wanted to thank you, Jeffrey, so much for being on our show. I'm glad we were able to make it work with the dates, and the readings were fabulous. And thank you so much for being here. Jeffrey's contact info is in the chat, but it is his name, jeffreypeck.com, if you would like to reach out and get your own reading from Jeffrey. He's fantastic, as you've already heard, and thank you so much for being here. Now, I know we're short on time, and Winter, is there any events that you have going on soon? I know you have a lot of fun trips planned.
Yeah, well, I just got back from Japan. I took my oldest daughter, who's completing her medical residency. And as a doctor, she does encourage patients to seek out Reiki for their aches and pains, and also nervousness, anxiety, etc. She's allowed to, quote unquote, recommend it. I don't think she prescribes it, right? So she's a Reiki too. My youngest is a Reiki master, so we are a Reiki family. And anyway, so I went to Japan with her. If you guys have the opportunity and the desire, I strongly recommend. Japan is a wonderful place to visit. And then I'm taking the youngest one to Ireland, where I should see lots of fae and other elementals. And I'm also going to be in Lilydale. So if you want to do something spur of the moment, because it's about 3 weeks from now, I will be there July 16th. I'm teaching 3 days, meet and greet you guides, which I think I mentioned before. It's kind of a blending class, learning to blend with the higher teachers, an all-day trance class, learning to do trance under different circumstances and with different entities. And then a day of psychic to mediumship unfoldment. My other events are going to be in the fall, and as are the next date for our show, Spirit Chat with Mari and myself. We take the summer to focus on the family mostly. And yeah. So thanks, Jeffrey, for coming on and for giving some beautiful readings. I really enjoyed getting to know you. I see similarities in our paths. And thank you, Mari. I haven't seen you in a while, so this has been delightful.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Jeffrey. I don't know if you have any upcoming events that you would like to mention before we get off. I've realized I should have asked you that earlier.
Oh, that's okay. I don't. I just coming off the heels of this retreat that I did. I'm like integrating right now, coming back into real life. So I don't have anything planned. I have the next 2 weeks blocked off, but you can find me at Jeffrey Peck Medium everywhere. Jeffrey Peck Medium, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please take a look at my YouTube, Jeffrey Peck Medium, because it's this kind of forum that we do, every Wednesday, except for today and next week. But we do this every Wednesday, and it's so much fun. It's one of my favorite things to do, to connect with all of the viewers and the listeners, and also collaborating with you guys. Thank you for having me on your show. That's, I'd love to have you on mine next time. So yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Spirit Chat. Like Winter said, we will be back in September. We're going to take the summer to chill, be with our families, and plan the next fun things. We do have some cool guests coming up for the fall, so stay tuned for that. Check out my website, mediamari.com. And Winter, your website is it your
Winter
name?
Brook Medium.
winterbrookmedium.com and jeffreypeck.com. So check us out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for coming on Spirit Chat. Thank you. Bye.
God bless everyone.